So one of our special guests at this year's conference, Intermarium Simulation Conference, is Roger Hallinger, who is the co-founder of FlexSim, this wonderful tool that we use, and also former co-owner of this company, of FlexSim Software Products Incorporated. Roger, so welcome at our conference. How do you feel to be here? Let's say, how do you feel to be here against the expectations that you had?
I've done stuff with you guys before, with Intermarium before, and so I've come to expect almost perfection and expect good things. And so Krakow is a city that always lives up to it, so you're always looking forward to come to Krakow. And then everything that Intermarium seems to do is just well done. The other thing about the conference that's always interesting is it's fun to see what people do with the software. It's also interesting that people are, when they present, they say, well, maybe my model isn't as good as somebody else's, but it's always, interesting and fantastic too. So it's
different, yeah. Each of them is unique, let's say. Basically, have you been surprised by something? Because you said that you know what you expected, and this is, let's say, we didn't fail. But what was the most surprising to you? Let's say
your numbers are comparable to the last user conferences that FlexSim had. So I don't know what your numbers were total, but at the last user conference for FlexSim, we had maybe 150 people. And so here you are in Poland, a market that's smaller than the US, and still so that always surprises me.
Mm-hmm. And because you said that you liked some presentations, but do you have, let's say, your favorite presentation, any which was, let's say, the most interesting, maybe the most surprising, or?
I like them all. They're all good presentations. I liked the Grundfos presentation. I thought was very good, and then the presentation right before from
before Grundfos, yeah,
was more
it was not JBIL, but okay.
More. Who was? It was the woman from.
Oh yes, from Metroplan, yeah, and about the model
the
for Rossmann, this huge model, yeah.
I think her presentation, the overview, and the amount of information that she gave in a short time, explaining the purpose of the model, what was done, why they did it, some of the challenges they had, how they had to get around them, and the results. This is what we learned from it. That was impressive.
Okay.
For not being the actual model builder. You know what I mean? Just the project manager, that was good.
Exactly. It's not, might be not easy, but yeah, she did very well. Yeah.
And then the other thing that's always crazy is how I'm grateful that everybody learned English, right?
Yes.
And I'm always impressed with, because speaking about technical things in a second language, I'm just always, that's the shocker too.
Yeah. So, as I said already, that we are very happy to have you here. And also, if you can tell, let's say, because you said that you expected a very good event. Let's say, in your view, because you, throughout all the years, you've been working with wonderful people, also from different countries, with FlexSim distributors as well. We know most of them as well, and we think they are really good engineers, wonderful people. But can you see something, let's say, what would make you, as a client, as a customer, to come to us, to Intermarium team? Do you think we are somehow unique?
Intermarium reminds me of FlexSim when we were a little bit smaller. There's a camaraderie, there seems to be a smart business plan, and the team members seem to be working that plan in unison. And that's how FlexSim was when we were younger, when we were smaller, and it seemed like we were able to keep that fairly well throughout FlexSim's life. And I see that with Intermarium. You also have lots of different skill levels, right? You have the educational side, the consulting side. There's, all of the users said, well, when we got stuck, we contacted Intermarium, and Intermarium helped us. And I think there's a focus on making sure. I mean, all those things are true, but I think the focus that Intermarium seems to have is how do we make our customers successful with the software? Yeah. And that was always our goal too. We didn't care if they were users or of the software or if they were consulting kind of customers. We just wanted them to be successful, and there seems to be that same attitude among the Intermarium team. I think that's why I would look for them.
So I'm glad you said that, because I think you noticed that what we, let's say, we try to do. So we always say that we not only delivering the technology and knowledge how to use it, but we also try to develop some kind of environment, community around of it. So to make sure that our clients are, let's say, that we take care of them in terms of giving them knowledge, but also the community, and we try to make them successful, because we always say that, their success is our success, Exactly. So this is something what is natural.
You can give people the software, really good software, but it's technical software. It's difficult to use. Simulation projects are difficult. You can give them the software and they'll fail, or you can give them only the services with poor software and they will probably fail. If you can give them both, which is really our goal, they're going to be successful. They just will be successful with those two components.
Yeah, and what do you think, because we don't have here a copy of it, but what do you think about our magazine, Simulation Manager? Because something, you mentioned that today during your presentation even.
Simulation Manager is without question, it's the best simulation magazine focused on simulation that's out there. There isn't a better one. It has nothing to do with Flexim. It's just the best. It has a lot of practical, information, forward-looking information, how-to information. It is kind of like a condensed version of a user conference like this. You can gather that kind of information. It's good.
So this is something what you said. What Flexim should do earlier.
It is something Flexim should have been doing a long while ago, but because it's done so well, it's probably best left to the professionals.
Yeah. Okay. We have one copy. So. Okay. And so maybe if you can. It will be like commercial, but just to say, what's interesting in this, let's say, in this magazine, you can say just about the cover story, but
I do think that I'm impressed with Steve Hooper as a person to begin with. There's not a smarter guy alive, has a vision for what Autodesk should be doing on the production manufacturing side of things, and has a vision for Flexim that was refreshing. I mean, it aligned very closely to ours, but was even beyond what we wanted and could do. And with his resources and his foresight, I think probably the best read that you could find about where Flexim is headed under really Steve's leadership and kind of vision. And so I was thrilled when I heard that he accepted your invitation to be interviewed.
It was wonderful, So also for us it was pleasure, and as you said, he's really a smart guy, very good also speaker. Yeah. So it was great.
He's sharp.
And it will be very informative, I'm sure, for our readers.
Yeah.
Okay, because one of the reasons, I'm sure of it, that people attended this conference was the opportunity to meet you. I don't know if you will be with us next year. We hope so. It would be wonderful. But even if not, so let's say, what you would tell the people who are considering to coming here, why it's worth to come here and to attend this conference and to be with us?
Well, there are different reasons for different people, groups to show up, right? There's an educational component. The professors here need to see the practical application of simulation so that they can somehow incorporate that into their lessons, into their, into their syllabus, training of the younger engineers.
They can see the goal of that, what they are
Yeah.
doing during the
Yeah.
lessons. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good for practitioners that are working for commercial organizations to see how other companies are using it. They then say, they may not say, I'm going to do that exact same thing, but they'll be inspired because of thoughts coming through. I can see what they're doing.
Yeah.
Maybe if we did it this way in our next model, we could, be a little more successful. And
So
then
it's about the exchange of the knowledge, best practices, and so on.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. And then for us as developers and marketers and supporters of the software, as the vendor, we need to get the feedback. We need to be pressing the flesh and seeing how the software is used, hearing how they'd like to use it, listening to where they've been successful, listening to where they've been less successful, and trying to then accommodate the software through future development to meet those needs that we hear are out there. I mean, we need to make sure that we're moving along with whatever the market demands, whatever end users need.
Yeah, so this is basically something what we try to accomplish with the conference. Yeah, to create another one meeting platform. Yeah, for the different stakeholders of all of that simulation technology world. Let's say. Yeah. So this is it, and thank you very much, Roger, for joining us.
Always happy to be here. You know that.
Thank you very much.